Hello there and welcome back to another Genshin Impact video. This time we're taking a closer look, you could say, at the Chronicled Wish banner and my truly one problem, as I don't really have much more. There are some things that you could call an issue, there are some things that you could have as a preference, but I feel like there's one real problem here that might showcase that Hoyoverse is trying to do a bit of a mini scam with this banner, and that is the way you are told about the path. Let me go with straight up an example. In the weapon banner, when you need to get the epitomized path, you have to click on this tiny little button. It doesn't have an exclamation mark because I already chose mine. But when you click on this, you have the epitomized path and its rules on the left, where at the bottom, which is in my opinion should be at the top, and since it's at the bottom it's a bit scummy, it says, when this epitome invocation ends, your accumulated fate points will also be reset. It tells you, it gives you that information straight up. If you do not read the rules of a banner, that's very much on you in a way, but still, I agree it's scummy that they put this at the bottom. This is how the weapon banner has been working ever since the epitomized path was introduced. You come onto the screen, you click on the epitomized button, and you have the rules here. But now, if we go into the Chronicled Wish, which this is the screen you will see at first, you can choose one of these characters or one of these weapons. That's cool. So, what happens if I hit straight away confirm selection? No rules, right? You're not told what happens with the fate points, you're not told exactly how it works. You click on choose and you can go straight into pooling with no prior warning. Yes, on the weapon banner you can also go ahead and pool with no warning on the epitomized path. But if you don't need to choose an epitomized path in order to pool on the banner. That's how the banner works. But in this case, you have to choose a character. You have to choose it. And so, it's very scummy in my opinion, and a very bad move from Hoyoverse, especially when I was hoping it would tell you the rules straight away. Now, how can you actually see those rules? Well, there's two ways. Let's take it from if you didn't have a path already chosen. Well, you do have the view details button. And again, it's at the bottom. When this Chronicled Wish period ends, accumulated fate points will be reset. Very scummy once again, and I really do not like this. The fact that the most important part is at the bottom rather than it being at the top. You also have the details, but this is just so you can actually click on the characters and see their general details. And the other way, after you confirm your selection, you can click on this button, you saw it a bit earlier, which is the change path button. And again, you have the rules here. Scrolling to the bottom, you see the fate point stuff. And then you have the details, and you can cancel the path. But let's take, for example, the worst case scenario, right? You're a player who really wants Eula. You know that the Chronicled Wish banner has Eula, and you're excited to go ahead and pool. You hit confirm selection, you don't read the details because you want that Eula so badly. You will never change the fate point because Eula is the only character you want. You currently don't have enough wishes for a true guaranteed, and you pool. You start pooling. You pool and you pool and you pool. You lose the 50-50, you get an albedo for example, and then you continue pooling. Since you don't have enough for a guarantee, you have the one fate point, but there's still more than enough for the patch. If you don't get to the guarantee throughout the patch, you have wasted pretty much as the number of wishes that you had to do until you lost the 50-50. And if you didn't read it, you didn't know that. Unless you know from the weapon banner, but it's a separate banner, so why would this epitomized path work the same as that one, for example? Right? Or maybe you never pooled on weapon banner and you always just clicked on the epitomized path to get rid of the exclamation mark. But if the same player who really wanted Eula when choosing the epitomized path, when clicking confirm selection, would have been put straight into this screen, into the Chronicle Path Rules screen, they would be like, let's see how this works. Is it working the same as the normal banner, etc, etc. He reads that when the Chronicled Wish period ends, the fate point is reset. He sees that he doesn't have enough for a true guaranteed, so he doesn't pool. And he waits until he either gets really close to a guarantee, to the point where he would just, I don't know, spend $10 to get it, to put a very small amount, or he doesn't pull at all and waits for a proper Eula rerun, or the next Chronicled Wish that has Eula on it. And that's my problem. The fact that the rule is not told to the players like in the weapon banner. And why is that? Well, I really don't know if I should go into this kind of stuff, but there are some really weird decisions that the higher-ups at Genshin took, including the whole debacle of the anniversary and the way that they addressed the extra pools, but that's not really something I want to address here. I really hope this isn't a sign of Genshin and Genshin devs, maybe even Hoyoverse as a whole, getting very greedy. Because this, with no prior, anything about Genshin, this looks like a move made out of greed, right? You don't tell the people how to use the fate points properly, like you're losing them, etc, etc. It's a good banner. I like the idea of the Chronicled Wish. Choosing a limited 5-star and having the ability to lose 50-50 to a limited 5-star, or choosing one of these weapons. A lot of the weapons are pretty good. You have, and especially the ones that you cannot actually get, like Hunter's Path or Beacon. They don't really have a rerun, since Dea and Dignari no longer have reruns. For example, maybe I want a Wolf's Gravestone. Maybe I want to swap from the from that event weapon to a Wolf's Gravestone on my Navia. I'm just going to pull for Wolf's Gravestone. Of course, I'm not going to do that, but that is a possibility, right? Or maybe you really wanted Song of Broken Pines for your Eula, and now you can finally get it for technically way cheaper. And even if you lose the 50-50 to the Song of Broken Pines, maybe you lose it to Hunter's Path. Maybe you lose it to Beacon. Yeah, if you lose it to any of the other weapons, it's as if you pulled on the normal weapon banner, but still, you still have a bunch of good choices. Same here. I'm pulling for Eula, but I got the Klee. I'm pulling for Eula, but I got a Diluc. And another thing is the fact that you can now pull for standard characters. You can pull for C6 Diluc if you really are a huge fan of him. You don't need to rely on random 50-50 losses. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like other than this very scummy move that Hoyoverse did, this banner is really good. Yes, the loss of the fate point is very annoying, and I do wish that guaranteed carried over, right? Because this banner and the normal Event Wish banners do not share pity, right? This is an entirely separate pity and an entirely separate guarantee from the standard banner. So you can say, oh, I'm pulling on here. If I lose my 50-50, I can use my guarantee here, right? That is not a possibility. They're separate banners. So why not just have it work like the Event Wish banner and keep guarantees going over from one Chronicled Wish to the other? I really don't see how that would be that bad of a thing, especially since they're now doing this kind of banner, which is... We'll see. Maybe they're gonna do some tweaks in the future, maybe they're going to change some stuff. But yeah, that is my one problem. Not actually telling the rules to players and having a high possibility of players themselves not reading them. Because we all know how dismissive of just reading the rules players are sometimes. People skipping tutorials, people skipping in other games as well, people skipping tutorials, people skipping dialogue and then not knowing what they need to do in the quests, etc, etc. That thing happens, and we all know that. Maybe we've all had a moment like that. So when you only give the two options to view the rules and you never automatically put them on screen, people are just gonna click confirm selection and start pulling. So, in the end, what is my advice? I advise you all to just save up almost to your guarantee. 160, 170 wishes. If you really want one of these characters or one of these weapons, save up prior. For example, right now, I am close to that amount. Adding also in the wishes I will get during this half of the patch, I would be able to get myself a guaranteed EULA. But if you do not have this, if you just pulled for, if you want to pull for Shuri or you just pulled last patch, do not pull unless you have a guarantee. Unless you want to get any of these characters. At which point, you choose EULA, and whichever one of these characters you get, you're happy with. At that point, it doesn't really matter anymore. I also recommend, if you want a specific weapon for a character that hasn't had a rerun in a while, and has had over 3 reruns, wait until the weapon gets on this banner. It's much cheaper, in my opinion, overall, that, to get the weapon from this banner than to get the weapon from the weapon-specific banner. If you can get yourself Song of Broken Pines if you never had it for EULA, or any sword for like Albedo or whatever if you don't have Cinnabar Spindle. Yeah, and if you don't care that much for any of these characters, just do not pull. You do not want to build pity on this banner. Because you might just do 2-10 pulls, you get the character, but then what about saving up for future characters that you might want, or what about waiting for a rerun like Farina? Farina's most likely coming next in the next patch, because it's 3.6 second story quest, like in pretty much every other patch beforehand. But yeah, if you want to pull for a specific character on this banner, make sure you have saved up or you save up. If you want to pull on any future character on these banners, depending on how they're going to go, start saving up and make sure you have for almost guaranteed. Even if you have 180 wishes saved up and only use 100, that's very amazing. So yeah, that's about it. If you guys enjoyed watching, why not leave a like, comment, or subscribe? And I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.